we looked at the great discipline. We looked at Vrata means small discipline, the basic discipline. Mahavrata, the great discipline is this. The 5 niyamas. So the 5 niyamas are saucha, cleanliness, and then santosha, contentment, tapas, austerity, self-restraint, self-study, and resignation to God. See here, God. This is something which I have to explain to you. What is God? See, in the sutras, Yoga Sutra is not a text of religion. Here it says, Ishvara Pranidhana. It's a kind of a resignation or surrendering to a higher force within you. Actually, that is the appropriate meaning. Ishvara is you. Ishvara is your higher potential. Have you had glimpses of higher potential in your life occasionally? At moments of self-realization or self-awareness, you realize that there is much more inside me. When you yourself are having a lot of issues and problems, you yourself experiencing many challenges in your life, at that moment, you are still able to assist someone else. Say, look at this. You yourself, I'm not saying you, I'm just generally saying, if this situation happens that you are under a lot of constraints and challenges, at that time, somebody comes and they have some issues and you extend a kind word, that is your higher potential. Are we clear about that? That is your higher potential. And that is where this Ishvara Pranidhana comes into your structure of consciousness. We have structures of consciousness, but because life seems to be very automated, there's always that kind of routine. And even the routine, the physical routine, we also have a mental routine. The way we think sometimes seems to be the same thing. Many years goes by, seems to be the same way one is thinking. But here it says that whenever something new happens in your consciousness, and it happens normally when you're able to extend something extraordinary, like kindness or like a good word, or even giving 5 ringgit to someone who seems to be homeless and comes to that table in the restaurant and is eating, and then you extend that 5 ringgit to the counter and serve this person. That is Ishvara Pranidhana. That means you are God-like. But doesn't mean that you are the only God. That person whom you are serving is also God-like. So this word God, in this context, in a time when civilization and consciousness has evolved so much, there's a lot of questions happening. There are many questions where people are questioning whether God exists or not. Well, these are the questions that are going on in people's mind. Many people have found happiness in the path of devotion and religion. It's okay, they have a notion of what God is and they follow it. But the Upanishads have a view of God. They say that God is within you. This God is not what you have been thinking about. This God is a special soul, and Patanjali will define it. It's a special soul that is free from afflictions, cannot be contaminated. This is the definition of God, of the soul. So soul and God seems to be one and the same. But if one has a great fearlessness, then they can continue to question and question and question and question until they come to some answers and some glimpses. But those answers and glimpses is very private, and it has to be analyzed and seen and meditated, dive deep inside until you have a glimpse of truth. And that truth then becomes Ishwar. God then is truth. Then you can see with form, without form, with name, without name, with form, with name, without form, without name. It can be anything and anyone, it can be everything. So it's such a broad view of what constitutes God. But to do this, one must have tremendous confidence. And then you become such an individual thinker that you are not contained by the box called religion. In fact, religion is supposed to be universal, but man has made it a small box. So Ishvara Pranidhana here means resignation. It's not about surrendering to some concepts. It is actually surrendering to infinity, and such that your mind can explore itself to the greatest heights of creativity. So this resignation is not a lack of creativity. It is actually the completeness of creativity, just allowing it to expand and not feeling guilty about all the questions that nobody can answer, that no scripture can answer, no priest can answer, no one in the history of mankind can answer whatever they are questioning. That is Ishvara Pranidhana, and you become so contented with it, because it is then your duty to find the truth. But that truth which you find is not applicable to anyone else. That is something which must realize, that you have found the truth. And that truth is a private truth. That is your own truth. And when you share with someone, it's your truth that you are sharing, not in the intent of converting that person to your concept of philosophy. No, that is not my intention. This is what I felt I would like to share, but not with the intent of building a philosophy or followers or religion. Not at all interested in that. Then that becomes untruth. But I am sharing this because this is my glimpse. But I know for sure that your truth is going to be something completely different, because truth can be completely different from each other. 7 billion people on earth, 7 billion people can have their own connotation and ideology about what truth is. Why? Because it is creativity, right? Creativity means it can be different. If it is not different, something is wrong. Then it becomes conformity. Then it becomes fanatism. Then it becomes inside the box. Then everybody becomes the same. That is why in this particular time, if religion is seen as a conformity, and then you have to follow some rituals which are just keep on repeating, and you are just comfortable with that particular concept and not comfortable with anybody else who voices something else, then it is not the truth, unfortunately. Just a small truth. But it's okay. It's alright. Just like Krishna says, those who are sleeping, let them sleep. Because if we disturb, then you have to bring them to truth, which is not easy. So, all of these 5 niyamas is something to do with this concept of retraining ourselves, how to keep ourselves clean. We have to look at this, clean. Get up in the morning. If it is a hot country like Malaysia, we have to take our bath. There's no doubt about it, because sleep is a form of detoxification, cleanliness. And then of course, what happens to this here? The pitta here. Kunjal, have to clean it up. And then nose, we cannot be lazy. We have to do. We have to do Kapalabhati and then the Niti, Kunjal, once a week. All of this is cleanliness. This work has to be done. We must clean ourselves physically. And then contentment. Contentment what? I'm a teacher? Okay, it's good enough. I'm a teacher. I got this 5,000 ringgit salary. That is not what is contentment. Contentment is, this is my position, this is my work, I am a manager, this is my salary, this is my family. Okay, contented, but continue. You understand what I'm saying? Continue striving. Many people have got this contentment into the wrong context. That means I'm a wife, I'm taking care of my children, good enough. Good enough. I'm caring for my children, good enough. What about you? What is your growth? What is your contribution? Yeah, your 5 children is your contribution. But the children out there are 2 billion children out there. What is our contribution? This is not going to make you satisfied. It's going to be a frustrated life if you don't do something in order to grow from now. You have to grow. You have to do something. we have to be happy with what we have. Okay, that no question. We have to be happy with what we have, but we have to strive a little bit more. So another extreme is that I have all this, I'm not happy because I need to have that, only that happy. Okay, that is also not right. I'm happy with what we have right now, but I am also moving towards that. I also want to achieve that. I want to achieve what? I want to achieve self-realization. I want to achieve better income. I want to achieve more clarity, more health, better health. I want to achieve that, but I am happy with this. If I'm not happy with this, if I'm not contented with this, then the journey is painful, right? Until and unless I get that, I'm not going to be happy. Then it's not good. So I'm happy now, every step I'm happy, I'm growing continuously. Austerity doesn't mean, see, this tapas doesn't mean pain. Tapas is not pain. Oh, you get up 5:30 in the morning, practice yoga. No, it's not that. You don't have to wake up 5:30 in the morning. You can wake up 5:31 in the morning. 1 minute, sleep extra 1 minute. Okay, never mind. Give and take some discount here. 5:35. 3-4 times alarm ring. You get up. Practice. First day you practice 10 minutes, sleep again. And then second day, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Never mind, step by step. Step by step. But this step by step has to progress. Not step by step is up and down the step. It has to have some kind of progress. That progress is tapas. That tapas. You want to take 4 idli, you take 2 idli afterwards. That is tapas. Some kind of self-restraint. So there must be some form of discipline in our lives. Must have. Then only growth takes place. So this discipline is only when you are a teenager, when you are a student. No, you are 60 years old also. I'm working with many people, 70 years old, 60 years old also. Wow. So much of discipline, so much of enthusiasm to reach something else. That is very inspiring to see. People in their 60s and 70s not surrendering to retirement. Still going on, doing something. Very inspiring to see these kind of individuals. Discipline and then observing yourself. This is something which, as a practitioner of yoga, have you seen some kind of secondary awareness? Not behind, inside. Have you felt that you are thinking, you are doing work, you are performing your action, but seems to be a kind of an awareness of what you are doing. Maybe not all the time, but many times have you noticed this? That you are aware of what you are doing. I mean, this is something which is not ordinary. Many people, because they have not practiced this, they are not aware of what they are doing. But you as practitioner, have you seen that you are aware of what you are doing? Sometimes after doing, you say, oh yeah, I should not have done this. You are aware. Have you felt this growing awareness? They call this secondary awareness. There is an awareness behind this awareness, but at one point in your life, this so-called secondary awareness which is growing is going to be a primary awareness. Primary means main. Right? But in the beginning, it is called secondary. First, it is not. Then eventually it becomes, you are aware. What? I'm more aware right now. More aware of what I am doing. More aware. Can do self-correction. Have you seen this? You can correct yourself. You don't have to go for counseling anymore. You don't have to contact anybody else. You're able to do yourself. Hey, how come some kind of wisdom is coming in from myself? Occasionally. But as we keep on practicing, as we keep on restraining, as we keep on tapas, we find that this secondary becomes primary, more aware. And this is what is called buddhi. When it is exercised, one becomes like a Buddha, enlightened, aware. In this lifetime, in your own life, in your own family, your work, whatever you are doing, you can attain enlightenment. That is self-study, swadhyaya. This is the component of the niyamas. The niyamas, you must work with yourself. There's so much of work within ourselves. I can tell you, it's a very beautiful work. to work with ourselves is so much of joy. Do not yearn for company all the time. I must have friends, I must have someone to talk to, I must always be surrounded by people. Don't yearn for that. It comes definitely. In fact, I will tell you one thing. The more you concentrate within yourself, the more you work with yourself, you become very attractive. Have you seen? That people gravitate towards you. They just like to be with you. So you become magnetic. The more you work with yourself, the more you practice Swadhyaya, the more charismatic you become. It is so natural. The more we yearn to influence people, the more we look for friendship, the more we are working outside, the lesser we become. The lesser it becomes. The more you work with yourself, the more magnetic. It also almost like opportunities come towards you. More love comes towards you, more people come towards you, more and more, because you seems to be more steady. People are gravitating, people are attracted to somebody who is steady and comfortable within themselves. And this is achieved through the understanding of the niyamas. Thank you very much.